New Brunswick has become one of our favorite places to ride in, and each season the cast and crew of OSM and STV make it a mission to come here at least once a year. But we've been pretty much everywhere in the province, so this time we wanted to ride somewhere new. And this time we're going to be riding in the French fry capital of the world.
Florenceville is not only home to McCain's Foods, who process 1/3 of the world's supply of French fries right here. This town will also be our home base for 3 days of riding in the region. Now, Florenceville is also located on the west side of the province, not far from Maine, with the St. John River flowing through town. First impressions of riding in this area is that it is different than other areas we've been to in the province. The trails here feel more rural, with rolling fields and small towns along the system, compared to the more wilderness-style trails like you'd find north of here in the Mount Carlton area.
So riding in Florenceville, it's a very maritime experience, I guess is the best way to put it. If you're really looking for that old school kind of environment, it's great. We do have the industry with McCain's and you see all kinds of industry around. But if you enjoy the farmer's field and you want to see where your potatoes are coming from, it's really great. I mean, the farmers are great. They allow us to use the fields. We mark the fields, so we do ask that people would respect when they're out snowmobiling, and they do. So it's really great. It's just a real warm hometown feel.
This region is turning out to deliver a mixed bag of trails. First, there's the farming influence, with many of the trails crossing potato fields, but the rolling hills of the fields and the curving trails make these open areas a fun part of the ride experience. Then there's plenty of tighter bush trails linking the towns together. Plus, there's the elevation you'd expect here in New Brunswick, and our tour took us to multiple lookouts and some of the best trails we've seen in a long time. With a perfectly groomed base, at times our group was treated to a fresh layer of powder up to about 15 centimeters deep. It was just on the edge of being deep enough to pull off powder turns in the corners. With snow dust flying, this was one of my favorite parts of the trip.
This particular region really offers everything. I mean, if you're a flatlander, if you will, and you enjoy rail beds and running along the side of the St. John River system, we have that. If you want to go up in the mountains, we have that too. If you want to go to some great lookouts, and of course the longest covered bridge in the world, which we did, it was pretty exciting. So we really have it all. I mean, it's you pick your crowd that you're coming here with, we'll help you to pick the territory you should be riding in. We just need to deliver the message a little more. The people that come here are very impressed. The people that haven't been here really don't know what it's all about. So we're starting to share that story a little bit, so we're pretty proud.
With the area expanding all the time, both commercially and recreationally, hotels and restaurants are also welcoming to snowmobilers who make their way to this region.
We're 100% open to snowmobilers. We are partnering and developing our further partnership with Snowmobile New Brunswick in general. So we found ourselves as one of the sponsors. We're being on the trail maps and guides. One of our approach is from the trail. We're working with one of the local clubs where they're grooming a pathway from the trail directly to the hotel on the parking, so that if you're riding, it's a smooth ride versus, oh, the trail is from the trail to get to the hotel. So that's the approach we're taking to say, hey, it's not just saying that we're welcoming everyone, but we're showing it by, here is what we're doing from the trail to the hotel as well.
The St. John River is also the dominant feature of this region, with many of the small towns dotting its banks. Flowing from northern Maine all the way to the Bay of Fundy, this river can be seen from many of the trails of the region. And
on day one of our ride, the trails took us here to Heartland, New Brunswick, and across the world's longest covered bridge. And I can promise you, nobody was kissing in there.
So there are 141 covered bridges in Canada. 58 of them are in New Brunswick, so that's 45%. Pretty incredible when you think You know, our small province has almost half of Canada's covered bridges. The Heartland covered bridge is the longest covered bridge in the world at 1,282 feet. To this day, it's still a classic covered bridge in New Brunswick. Out of the 58, I mean, this is the most well-known, obviously, most famous, but we have covered bridges everywhere in the province. Some people come here to go chasing covered bridges because quite often they're located in off the beaten path places, real pretty places on secluded country roads. Obviously they're near water. There's a romantic element to our covered bridges in New Brunswick. We call them kissing bridges because back in the day of horse and buggy in the early 1900s, late 1800s, people would stop and in privacy in the middle of these covered bridges and kiss. That's the name kissing bridges, and that's the reason why to this day there's still a romantic sense about covered bridges in New Brunswick. That combined with the fact that they're in secluded places, pretty settings on secluded country roads, peace and serenity and all those things combined.
Another favorite part of any trip is getting to go to the local snowmobile hangout. On this trip, it was the Poorhouse in Juniper. Walking into this place, you feel instantly welcome as a rider, and this stop was the perfect timeout in the middle of another great day in New Brunswick. The Poorhouse also gave us the chance to have a little bit of fun with one of the guys here on the crew. Jeremy had no idea what he was in for.
Jeremy doesn't know, but there's a burger here called the Heart Attack Burger, and it's pretty big. That's Champion. It's actually on the wall over here, Champion Burger. We like double the size of one. He doesn't know, and it's become the Heart Attack Burger. It's like this tall. He has no idea it's coming. It should be good. He's in the bathroom right now. He has no idea.
Oh crap, there it is, buddy.
Yeah, man, Jeremy. Whoa.
Okay.
That one's a double. They talked me into it.
All right.
Wait, you see your basket fries are coming next.
No way. Not a chance.
We had heard that the Heart Attack Champion Burger at the Poorhouse was legendary, and Jeremy gave it a solid effort to finish it. Get to this place hungry and don't appetize on a couple of slices of pizza or wings before you order this as your main. That way you could be a man and finish it.
I always like it when I get the chance to introduce snowmobiling to somebody new, and on this trip we had the chance to do that. Neil Hodge, who was with us as a representative of tourism from the province of New Brunswick, was definitely a snowmobiling novice. That is, until we got a hold of him.
Neil was one of the people who made our trip here possible, but it had been years since he was on a snowmobile. Now, for the first part of his day on the trails, he rode with Kyle, the trail manager for Snowmobile Motoneige NB, but it wasn't long before we had him piloting his own machine.
My snowmobiling history is pretty short. I went out 2 or 3 times as a teenager, strictly a passenger. I was on the back, and I was in Nova Scotia in my teenage years, so a few years ago. So my most recent snowmobile experience was in New Brunswick, in Florenceville, and the trails in this region, and it was tremendous. I mean, I knew it was going to be fun going into it, but it surpassed all my expectations. I was really impressed with the signage on the trails, the markers on the trails, the scenery on the trails, impressed with the machines themselves. I mean, I knew they went fast, but I don't think I really grasped just how fast these snowmobiles will go. The pickup speed, how they can go from 0 to whatever you want them to go to in a hurry. But it's also reassuring that no matter how fast you're going, I couldn't believe that as soon as you take your hand off the gas, how they'll go from top speed to a stop position in a hurry. That was really reassuring for me, just knowing that no matter if something ever happened, how you could stop in a hurry. It was thrilling and it was exhilarating. It gives you access to places that you wouldn't normally be able to visit. You're deep in wilderness, you're getting to rivers or lakes or mountains or beautiful lookouts that are so far into the wilderness you would never be able to hike there in a day, snowshoe there, cross-country ski there. The only way that you could possibly get there, because it's so far into the wilderness, is by snowmobile. And I'm a scuba diver, and scuba diving allows you to see a whole different world. And so does snowmobiling in a different way, above ground and deep in the wilderness. And yeah, that was a real eye-opener for me.
Getting to go to new places and experiencing new trails is what makes snowmobiling such a great activity. Now the bonus to a trip like this is seeing the fun snowmobiling on great trails can bring to both experienced and novice riders. Plus, getting the chance to hang out with friends both old and new. Before going home, there was one more stop on our agenda, and that was a trip to Covered Bridge Potato Chips. This is a family-run business in Waterville that grows their own potatoes to turn into chips. They even have a tasting room where guests can try out different flavors or combinations of flavors to chips fresh out of the fryers.
Really good. Really good. Didn't know I liked honey dill, but I do. And they had salt and vinegar somewhere. There it is. Oh yeah, it's good.
We also felt it was the perfect time to create a special bag of chips for Jeremy for the drive home. I mean, what are friends for?
All right, so Jeremy, this is for you. We've got 30-some flavors here. We're gonna choose one that we know you're gonna love. Let's see. I think we're gonna start with bubblegum, right here. So here's bubblegum. That'll be enough. And it's, of course, we got Tickle Me Blue Raspberry and Cotton Candy, but we're gonna leave those for now. Gonna move down. Let's see. French Vanilla Cappuccino, that should be, I think that'll mix in well. So we're gonna do that. A little bit of that, yep. And here, this one here, Ghost Chili Pepper. Yeah, I think so. Ghost. Enough? No. There we go, that's, any more would be over the top. Can't do it. Ooh, mac and cheese. Or pepperoni pizza. No, mac and cheese. Yeah, let's do that. Just a scotch, just a little dash. Good there. What else we got? Loaded hamburger. No, I think he's all hamburgered out. Not gonna do that. We got jalapeno, of course. Yeah, jalapeno. It's getting a little thick in there. But we're going good. Ketchup. Too pedestrian. Nope, not gonna do it. Sour cream and onion, honey Dijon. The honey Dijon was pretty good. I tried that earlier. Salt and vinegar. Look at this. Lobster. Yeah, there we go. Just a little dab. Maybe a little more. Whoop, making a mess. There we go. So now we're gonna. Look at that. Nicely coated. Nicely coated. I'm gonna try one, just so I know. There's a ghost pepper. Little torque there, a little torquey, but it's actually not bad. I think it needs more ghost pepper though.
Loaded up with enough chips to get us home and with plenty of kilometers of trail behind us, it was time to say goodbye to New Brunswick once again, but we know we'll be back.
Okay, thank you again. Okay, bye-bye. Well, boys, let's say goodbye to New Brunswick. Good trip?
Great trip.
Great trip.
Always a great trip.
So you guys were riding today from Florenceville up to Edmundston.
Yep.
Kind of playing hooky. We were out working. We did get a chance to go visit a potato chip place where they manufacture potato chips. Local farmer provides the potatoes, and they own the company that makes the potato chips. And we thought, Jeremy, paying attention back there, or is that heart attack burger still affecting you?
I'm completely over it.
Completely over it. Perfect. So we thought, because you kind of failed doing that one, that you needed some potato chips. So we took the liberty of choosing a custom-made potato chip experience for you. There you go there. But if you choose to accept this, you cannot wuss out like you did with that heart attack burger.
It's got to eat the bag?
Got to eat the bag.
This is painful.
No, it's not. No, there's nothing in there that it would be even remotely spicy at all.
Nothing surprises me with you guys. I appreciate it, though.
So just let me know what you think there.
Anything to be warned about before I dive into these?
There's no I in team, so just go right in.
All right. As you were, guys.
So, Rich, what did you think about Florenceville?
It's a great place. It sounds like you guys did a little extra eating.
We did. We slammed back a few potato chips.
Spuds?
Yeah, but it is the French fry capital of the world there, so you would definitely want to take in some French fries or some spuds when you're there.
You guys want to give me a heads up on what I'm getting into here? I'm tasting a little bit of spice and mint.
Just experience it. Let the flavors wash over your tongue.
Is there a cornucopia of everything in here, or is it going to be one solid flavor all the way to the bottom?
Could be whatever. Yeah. There may be some like ghost pepper. I'm not sure. Maybe just a scotch of ghost pepper in there. Anyways, what I found about Florenceville, I mean, we've never ridden there before.
Ghost pepper with bubble gum.
Yep.
But the variety of trails. I mean, it's not the big wide open stuff like you'd see sort of more in the north, like Christmas Mountains and things like that. But
yeah, there's a good mixture. I found really good mixture. Still beautiful trails, quick. You can get up and go. That's for sure.
Flavor.
I mean, we had a great ride up to Edmundston.
Yeah, that sounds
flavor
like
and garlic.
It was
like
amazing.
Mr. Deeds pizza.
It's pretty unique with all the bridges. Like you're on some rail grade, but definitely was some of the better rail grade that I was on. Like we weren't on it the entire way, but the bridges there, Jeff, were they were picturesque. Like they're just big, huge sweepers. We stopped and took a lot of photos on them.
And the covered bridge too, like down in Heartland. Like
am I finishing this bag?
Together. How you doing back there, Jer Bear?
Am I finishing this whole bag?
Oh, you got a whole thing. You cannot stop. You've decided to accept the challenge. You now have to finish.
Less talking, Jer.
Yeah, just keep it going. Keep it going. What I found was nice too was, in and around Florenceville and on the way up to Juniper and everything, we did have a lot of field running, but it wasn't like typical field running that I have, at home where it's like straight 90 degrees, straight 90 degrees. There was a good variety of
the fields were much bigger.
Fields much bigger, but the hills.
Yeah.
And then when we did get up into the higher elevations, when it was snowing, remember that? Like that was, I haven't had a day like that on the trails.
It felt like we were in a blizzard for 4 hours. Beautiful though, beautiful. I mean, it snowed a lot. That's what's so great when Jared and I went up, when we went to Edmundston yesterday. It was amazing because it was the first day that was full bluebird, nothing but sunshine, just an awesome day. But cold. They were saying on the way up, we were filling up with fuel, and the guys, they were saying just over the hill in Maine, in the valley, it was going to minus 52 today.
Yeah, it's getting cold at home too, which would be good. We need the cold, but
I'm glad we're not riding today.
I think for me, the big memory was the powder on the trail. Riding along, looking over the hood. I think the ski tips were almost underneath the powder.
In the snowstorm we rode
in the snowstorm.
Yeah.
But the trail was perfectly groomed underneath and had, a good, 10 or more centimeters on top.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, the fuel economy was good. We weren't running too hard, just kind of having a good time.
Sure.
What are you doing there, Jared? You're throwing those chips out?
No, just getting some air.
All right. Again, sort of wrapping up New Brunswick. I mean, we're going to be back. Hopefully sooner than later.
Back there in a month.
Yeah, so absolutely unbelievable. We'll all be back to New Brunswick again on a future episode of Snowmobiler Television.
My mouth is on fire.